tonight on CTV News at 6. Extreme heat and local smoke.
Now, because of the higher humidity, the air molecules also sort of trap the smoke particles, which is why we kind of see it and smell it in the air.
Air quality is a concern as forest fire smoke from west of us blankets the northeast. Plus, looking forward to hockey season.
The priority right now is the Viking section, the arena, and the use of the arena, and the dressing room.
We get an update as officials in Elliot Lake say they're on track with long-awaited arena renovations. And another way to catch a ride.
This is really good news for all of northeastern Ontario. Probably many of them don't have any type of rideshare service or taxis for that matter.
Uber will soon be expanding to Northern Ontario.
CTV News at 6 with Marina Moore and Tony Rima with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. It's what everyone is talking about today. Extreme heat continues across Northern Ontario. Maximum temperatures of up to 37 degrees with humidex values up to 45 once again being felt. Environment Canada says today marks the peak of this heat event and that it's important to take action to protect yourself and others. Public Health says early signs of heat exhaustion include headache, nausea, dizziness, thirst, dark urine, and intense fatigue, and that staying hydrated before you feel thirsty is key to prevention. There's also an intense odor outside as we're experiencing local smoke in the area from forest fires in northwestern Ontario. Experts say the humidity is trapping that thick, smoky air over many parts of our region. CTV's Alana Everson has more on the heat and air quality concerns and what's causing the smoke to be so strong in our region.
Blue Coat Megan Mitchell is a STEM specialist, which stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics at Science North. She says smoke from the forest fires in northwestern Ontario is drifting east.
What that means for us is that we're seeing this haze in the air. Now, because of the higher humidity, the air molecules also sort of trap the smoke particles, which is why we kind of see it and smell it in the air. It's very, very clear.
Mitchell says there is also a reason the sky looks different.
The haziness of the sky, so that color, we're used to seeing that beautiful blue. What's happening is the smoke is basically scattering the blue light coming from the sun and makes it so that the yellow light comes through, which is why the sky also looks like a weird color also.
Public Health Sudbury and Districts has issued a heat alert, which occurs when the humidex is expected to reach 40 for 2 or more days.
Have the ability to find relief from the heat, keeping hydrated and finding a cool place that they're able to allow their body to recoup from the last few days of experiencing the intense heat.
Public Health says the smoke can impact the Air Quality Health Index. As of 1 p.m. Tuesday, Sudbury moved into the high-risk range.
Clearing your throat, feeling scratchy, right? Maybe a bit congested. Those types of symptoms are the start, and prolonged exposure, and if the situation gets worse, symptoms can also get worse.
Given the sweltering heat and hazy conditions, Public Health says it's important to check on people who are at higher risk of heat-related or respiratory illness. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
And those forest fires in northwestern Ontario are also causing several nearby First Nations and communities to evacuate. Communities north of Lake Nipigon from Collins First Nation to Armstrong and Cushing Lake were told to evacuate last night and head south to Thunder Bay. OPP say residents in Ignace, Crystal Lake and along Highway 633 are being told to prepare for evacuation. There are currently 128 active fires in Ontario's northwest region. And this footage, wow, this is from inside a train that had to be stopped near Collins, and it shows shows the intensity of the forest fire in that area. The train was being used to help evacuate people from Armstrong and neighboring communities when it was overtaken by one of the fires in the area. The people on board the train got away safely, but the train remains on the tracks between Collins and Armstrong. Freight trains using that corridor were also stopped and staged near Collins. Police say those trains were carrying combustible and flammable materials. They're asking the public to stay away from the area and railways at this time, adding emergency responders and railway officials are working together to assess the conditions of the trains. So with all of this talk of heat, fires, and air quality, let's get right to our first check on weather. And CTV's Tony Rima is standing by with the information you need to know.
Thanks for that, Marina. Good evening, everyone. Incredible video we just saw on board that train. Yes, there are a lot of warnings to talk about. We have heat warnings all across the Northeast. We have orange, we have yellow. There's air quality warnings for Sudbury, North Bay, Temiskaming Shores, Sault Ste. Marie, and also severe thunderstorm watch in through Sudbury, North Bay, and Temiskaming Shores. Good news, thunderstorm watch should end this evening. And then the heat warning should also come to a close by tomorrow, and the air quality should improve come Thursday. More weather details later in the show. Marina.
Thanks for that, Tony. And as you can imagine with this heat, it's very dry out there. So it's no surprise the city of Greater Sudbury has declared an open air fire ban effective immediately. That means all open air fires, including campfires, chimney fireplaces, crop residue fires, fireworks, and any other type of outdoor burning is currently prohibited. Updates and information on the ban can be found on the city's website. You can also check social media for the status of your community. A young offender has been found guilty of second-degree murder in connection to a shooting inside a bar in Greater Sudbury 3 years ago. The judge delivered the guilty verdict Monday for the young person, who was 16 at the time and cannot be identified. The case stems from the April 2023 fatal shooting of 22-year-old Joe Cabagan at Overtime Sports Bar. During the 2-week trial in March, court heard how there had been an altercation between two groups of men who were unknown to each other. After one group was kicked out of the bar, surveillance video showed one person returning to shoot the victim in the back of the head while he sat at the bar. In her decision, the judge disagreed with defense's argument that the young person was under duress from the co-accused. Sentencing is set for August 4th. And the co-accused is identified as Noah Singh, who still remains at large since the incident in April 2023 when he was 19 years old. He remains on Canada's most wanted list, top 10. After 3 years of waiting, Elliot Lake is one step closer to welcoming residents back to its renovated arena. CTV's Amanda Hicks has more on the update shared by Council.
On Monday night, Elliot Lake City Council received a progress update from Perry & Perry Architects, the firm managing the Rogers Centennial Arena reconstruction. Officials say the immediate goal is to get the ice and dressing rooms ready for the return of the Elliot Lake Vikings, who were forced to take a leave of absence from the NOJHL while the rink was closed.
The priority right now is the Viking section, the arena, and the use of the arena, and the dressing room. The lobby is not required for the Vikings use in terms of what they need to do for their training camp. So we're focusing our efforts in those three main areas to get them occupiable and ready for use.
While the lobby will take more time, architects say the insulation, sprinkler system, and accessibility upgrades are nearly complete. The ice is expected to be in by August 4th. Some members of council recently got a sneak peek inside.
I was very impressed today. Very different than what everybody will remember what was inside. A lot of work, still a lot of work to be done. You have 6 weeks, but in the last 6 weeks, it's tremendous how much has happened. All in favor? And that is carried.
Council also voted to lock in the final $26.6 million budget to rebuild the arena, a price tag put forth last month. They also approved a $750,000 contingency fund. With the permanent CAO position currently vacant, the move gives interim acting leadership the direct authority to approve emergency spending, avoiding any election year delays and keeping the project moving.
We believe that is something that can at least give a little bit of breathing room, just in case if there is something that comes up. Obviously, with the election on the horizon in October, we don't want to get distracted from our goal of making sure that we have that facility open as soon as possible, and obviously in September.
Perry says the project is under budget and is optimistic the arena will be ready to welcome the public in time for the Vikings home opener at the end of September. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
Time now for a short break here on CTV News. For now, though, let's take a live look at conditions in Sudbury where, like the rest of the north, it's been a hot, smoky and hazy day. And you can see just how thick the air is here. We'll have more on the track of the smoke in the sky, plus when temperatures might ease up, coming up.
Win your way in to Boots and Hearts with CTV and Pure Country, August 7th to the 9th, Burrells Creek, Ontario, featuring the Jonas Brothers, the Chicks, Rascal Flats, and more. Win a pair of weekend passes, including camping and parking. Enter today at ctvnorthernontario.ca.
A follow-up to a story we brought you last night. Porter Airlines says its flight from Sudbury to Ottawa is being cut. CTV's Madison Merrier has reaction to the company's decision to pull out of Sudbury.
In an email sent out to Porter Airline employees, the company shared they are exiting the Sudbury market effective September 7th. In a statement to CTV News, a spokesperson says, in part, Porter has grown extensively over the past 3 years, and there are many markets with strong demand and new opportunities where we need to deploy aircraft.
While we recognize that this announcement is disappointing for many members of our community, we share in the disappointment, but ultimately we have to be reminded that air service is a use it or lose it service. Ultimately, we have to use air service if we want to have it from our community.
Sudbury's mayor also reacting today, taking aim at the airline on social media, saying while Porter has indicated that ridership did not meet expectations, many passengers have also pointed to challenges with the service itself and suggested fares, schedule, and the loss of the direct route to Toronto lowered value to customers.
As a whole, the Sudbury Airport has continued to grow year over year. For example, if we look year to date for 2026 versus our 2025 year, we've seen a 12.3% growth over the same period in 2025. In 2025 from 2024, we saw about an 8.5% increase in our passenger volumes. So a strong performance, and that's largely driven by our carriers here, unfortunately with the exception of Porter Airlines.
We started the Ottawa-Montreal route in October 2025. And since then, we are still operating the route. So I have to say we started with 6 flights per week, and now we reduced to 4 for multiple reasons.
Lemire says one challenge Prop Air faced was their competition with Porter. Meanwhile, Porter claims people wanting to drive as opposed to fly, as well as virtual meetings, have reduced air travel demand. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
The popular ride-sharing company Uber is planning an expansion in Northern Ontario. It'll bring service to North Bay, Sudbury, Timmins, and dozens of small towns and municipalities. The company says the launch will start later this summer. More from CTV's Eric Tashner.
Uber has the green light to serve Northern Ontario, including Greater Sudbury, Timmins, and North Bay, as well as more than 75 towns between Gravenhurst and Cochrane.
Well, this is really good news for all of Northeastern Ontario. Probably many of them don't have any type of rideshare service or taxis for that matter.
Uber says it's been approved to operate under the province's new one-year rideshare pilot program framework, with a launch planned for this summer.
So there's currently, I think, 444 municipalities in Ontario, and many of them don't have regulations for rideshare. And the ones that do have them, they vary wildly between different jurisdictions.
In May, the Ministry of Transportation announced the program along the corridor of the Northlander passenger train return, as well as in Greater Sudbury, to connect riders to the train when it launches.
We're going to do everything we can to ensure that it gets used. And I think that it's on us to use it, make sure that it works. And certainly if it's worthwhile, I think it'll continue to happen.
Miller says the framework will streamline the rules and regulations for ride sharing that were originally set under municipal bylaws in each city or town.
It's our hope that we can have one provincial framework, one set of clear, consistent standards for insurance, for safety, for consumer protection, for background screening, to make it very easy.
Canadian ride-sharing services U-Ride and Y-Drive currently serve some of the larger communities in the north. Uber says it is now working to recruit drivers. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
An Algoma-based dairy company is continuing its Northern Ontario growth with expansion into Sudbury. Echo Bay's Lock City Dairies is now in one major chain in the Nickel City, with plans to soon enter a second store in the next month. CTV's Corey Nordstrom has more.
From his farm in Echo Bay, Vic Fremlin has overseen significant growth in his Lock City Dairies brand.
It's been 35 years that we started the market, and everybody thought, well, this guy is going to take on all the big guys. He's going to last too long. We expanded 5 years ago into Thunder Bay and Marathon and all that way now up that corridor. Now we're expanding towards Sudbury.
In the Sioux, the dairy's lot has 20 trucks moving merchandise.
And then we bring it through here.
New branding and products have begun with the latest expansion.
We have a lemonade now coming out.
With its full fleet of products, Fremlin touts the recent expansion into Sudbury's South End Walmart as something fully driven by people's passion for supporting local.
I'm proud of Northern Ontario, and as that's why I want to give the customers of Northern Ontario a choice on our milk that's in Northern Ontario, and that they don't get, because the milk now, some of it comes out of Quebec and some of it comes out of Southern Ontario.
Expanding into new stores means that the farmers that Fremlin works with can be proud that their products stay in the area. He says he would eventually like to see all Northern Ontario dairy farmers supplying Lock City.
Right now we're working with about 12 farms, and like I say, the whole area has 90-some farms, but they're spread out far away. As I get bigger in the other areas that are out from Algoma, then we'll be buying more product from them.
Lock City Dairy's next expansion will see its products in a second Walmart in New Sudbury coming mid-August. Once established with this chain, Fremlin wants to continue their growth to other businesses and communities east of Algoma. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Sault Ste. Marie City Council has approved a conditional $15 million towards a $250 million port project. However, the funding will only kick in if the provincial and federal governments agree to cover the remaining price tag. If approved, the two-slip port could bring up to 1,800 jobs in the construction phase and 2,400 long-term positions to the city. Back we go to Tony now for a check on the current conditions this Tuesday evening. Tony, it sure is a tough one tonight for those without air conditioning.
How true, Marina. It's still a warm one out there, and we are going to start this segment with our current temperatures. Let's take a look at how it feels out there. Well, and through Timmins, 24 degrees, add a couple degrees because of the humidity. Much the same in through Cochrane, Moosonee, 22 degrees. Cap still above seasonal, 27 at this hour. In through Chapleau, a mix of sun and cloud, 25, a little cooler for Wawa, very comfortable. Sault Ste. Marie, 25 degrees, sun, cloud mix. Parry Sound, it's still above seasonal, 26 degrees as we head north. Well, we have 29, mix of sun and cloud for North Bay, a little cooler in through Timiskaming Shores. 29 though for Kirkland Lake, 33 degrees in through Sudbury, add a couple extra degrees with that humidity in through Espanola, 29, and Elliot Lake and Gore Bay, 30 degrees. Your 7-day weather forecast is still ahead. Marina.
All right, thank you, Tony. Next on CTV News at 6. The latest from the Assembly of First Nations and its annual general meeting that kicked off today in Ottawa. Plus, shocking video of a wildlife and tourist confrontation at Yellowstone National Park.
Tonight on CTV National News, a promising plunge in BC overdose deaths inside the front lines.
I can't even count how many people I revived.
What advocates believe is finally saving lives a decade into the public health emergency. Tonight on CTV National News and ctvnews.ca.
The Assembly of First Nations has kicked off its annual general meeting in Ottawa with a speech by National Chief Cindy Woodhouse-Nepinak.
As First Nations, our message is simple and practical, that our rights are our rights and this land is our land. Chiefs?
There's a lot on the agenda, with more than 50 separate resolutions expected to be reviewed. Chief Nepinak was skeptical about the federal government's updated First Nations Clean Water Act that includes a $4.6 billion investment.
Well, the funding won't close the gaps. We talk to the chiefs all the time that will put those resources to work. In the spring, we traveled to Saskatchewan to be with Chief Wesley, the leadership, the elders, and the community members. We have offered them and the community of evacuees our full support. So it's disappointing that this new bill fails to clearly designate First Nations rights to clean water, because no sum of money will distract from the red flags we see in this new clean water bill. Sadly, it represents a step back from the progress that was made with Parliament in 2024.
Many chiefs also saying today they're still waiting to see what consultation and partnerships are coming after Prime Minister Mark Carney's promises last year on nation-building projects. CTV's Rachel Aiello reports.
Projects built with Indigenous partners.
That was Prime Minister Mark Carney this time last summer, vowing full Indigenous cooperation and participation would be key to getting major projects built. But since then, few nation-building initiatives have advanced, and so the government is preparing further legislation to speed up project approvals, and that is sparking fresh concerns for First Nations.
The federal government can try and set up all the timelines that they want for project approvals, but they can't put a deadline on First Nations rights, and you have rights.
First Nations representatives are gathered in Ottawa this week for the AFN annual general meeting. And Carney's plans to expedite impact assessments for energy and infrastructure developments has taken center stage.
There is more dialogue needed before we agree to any process. We're not going to allow anything to happen without us being involved directly.
Those CTV News spoke with said they still feel left out of the conversation or are lacking the information needed to offer informed consent.
We see Prime Minister Carney all over the country and all over the world talking about our lands and our resources, but yet we have not seen them on the ground to engage us in any sort of fashion, and that needs to happen quickly.
Do the right thing. Do it honestly. We'll move a faster ahead, right?
First Nations leadership will also be discussing child welfare, housing, and calls for the Vatican to rescind a series of papal decrees. They will also hear from a slate of federal cabinet ministers. Mark Carney is not scheduled to speak, though he will be convening a meeting of First Nations chiefs in October. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
The U.S. and Iran exchanged strikes for a third night, with Donald Trump restarting the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Stuck in the middle, 2 Canadian ships. CTV's Judy Trin has more on the vessels and reaction from Ottawa.
2 Canadian cargo ships have been stuck in the Strait of Hormuz for 136 days. The vessels, owned by Quebec company Desgagnés, have been unable to get out during a ceasefire that didn't hold.
The tension is extreme right now, so I'll say we were a little bit unlucky in the time and space here.
On the weekend, Tehran launched attacks on tankers belonging to U.S. regional allies. A ship from India was also hit, while Washington struck Iran's port cities and vessels. Donald Trump is reimposing the naval blockade, but walking back plans to charge ship protection fees. The U.S. president says Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, and Kuwait made him a different offer.
It was never fair to me that we would be guarding the strait when we basically don't take anything. We don't need the oil at all. They said we'd love to do it a different way. We'd love to invest in the United States with billions and billions of dollars.
The war on the waterway has prevented the 2 ships owned by Desgagnés from returning to Canada to embark on deliveries to the Arctic Circle as the ice melts. Desgagne has had to hire replacement ships from Europe in order to deliver essential supplies to northern communities.
This was a big cost. So we had to brought the ship here in Montreal, pay the fuel, pay the crew, pay the renting of the ship.
There are currently no Canadians on board Desgagne's stranded ships. Most of its crew are from the Philippines or Ukraine. And just 3 weeks ago, the company was able to get replacement merchant marines on board its ships. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Now to a tense wildlife confrontation between a tourist and a bison inside Yellowstone National Park. A massive bison charged a 65-year-old man and his grandson. The grandfather tossed almost 3 meters into the air. A witness said the agitated animals settled near their campsite moments before the brutal attack. The man's family says he underwent surgery and is on the mend. Thank goodness for that. There's more news ahead, but first the information everyone wants to know tonight, and that's your full weather forecast with Tony Rima and more on this uncomfortable heat. Tony.
How true, Marina. Yes, uncomfortable to say the least. And we're going to talk about the drifting smoke because of all these forest fires in northwestern Ontario. And things are going to slowly get better. As you can take a look at this, by Thursday evening, we should see that smoke kind of become less of a nuisance. You certainly could smell it today, and that's going to continue into Friday, depending upon where you are located. As we take a look at our weather alerts, we still have a heat warning across northeastern Ontario. That should come to an end tomorrow. Severe thunderstorm watch in place for Sudbury, North Bay, and Temiskaming Shores. But things will gradually get better. A low pressure system with a warm front and cold front is going to move out of our broadcast region. However, high pressure is going to build in, making skies rather clear and temperatures, well, near normal values. And in fact, later in our 7-day forecast, coming up soon, I'll show you how those temperatures are going to play out. Overnight, this is what you can expect in through Sudbury, 18 degrees, a chance of rain for some communities. Temperatures not all that bad, starting to come down ever so slightly. For Moose and East, 16 degrees, Wawa clear, 14, Gore Bay, Parry Sound, a chance of some showers. Let's take a look at your 7-day weather forecast, starting with Sudbury, Nickel Belt. Tomorrow, 27, still warm. Start to get some rain. Then Friday, clearing. The weekend, well, sun, cloud, and shower activity. Next week looks soggy, 21 on Tuesday. For Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma, a mix of sun and cloud coming in spot on. However, on Thursday, some rain. Then on Saturday, the showers persist. Sunday, some clearing. But next Tuesday, it's going to be cooler. For Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, well, there is a risk of thunderstorms, 25, slightly above normal for this time of year. Unsettled conditions, Sunday, overcast. Monday, Tuesday, temperature starts to drop a little bit, 17 degrees on Tuesday. For Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, well, mostly sunny, 26. Then Thursday, bit unsettled, a chance of rain. Friday we get clearing. Saturday, Sunday, sun, cloud, and of course a chance of rain. Monday and Tuesday, it looks like soggy days ahead. 18 degrees when it should be 25 this time of year. And finally, folks, your 7-day weather forecast for North Bay, West Nipissing, mostly sunny, 27 degrees. Thursday still on the warm side, but there is a chance of some showers. Friday we get clearing, then back to the overcast conditions, a chance of rain both Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Shower activity persists. The great news on Tuesday, the temperature falls to 21 when it should be 25 this time of year. And our picture of the day comes to us from Joanne Bougie of South Porcupine, and she took this shot of the sun that's kind of orange instead of yellow. And in fact, I saw the sun this morning. It kind of had like a pinkish hue to it. Thanks very much, Joanne. We'd love to see your pictures. You can email those to us at weather.pictures@bellmedia.ca. Folks, that's your 7-day weather forecast. More news right ahead.
To the Timmins area now, where development in Black River Matheson continues. We recently told you about a new motel, restaurant, and a gas station being built in the community. And today, ground has been broken on the community's first licensed child care center. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
This park in Black River Matheson has been a place for children to play for generations. Soon, construction will begin here on the municipality's first licensed child care centre.
We did some research and we coordinated with the Cochrane District Services Board, and when the reports come out, it was needed for growth, it was needed for the families, it was needed for the local economy.
The $1.5 million project will create 39 licensed childcare spaces, 15 for toddlers and 24 for preschoolers. The development will also include an early on family centre. The project is funded through the Canada-wide Early Learning and Childcare Infrastructure Fund.
It maintains components in the formula that allow us to address need, which are called childcare deserts, and Black River Matheson has had one for a long time.
The board's director of Children's Services says the number of children aged 0 to 4 has tripled in the Cochrane district since the last census.
We have families that are attending childcare in South Porcupine, Timmins, Iroquois Falls. We have a lot of families using, having their parents help with childcare while they're going to work or staying at home.
Costello says 22 children are already on the wait list for the new centre in Black River Matheson. That means it would be about half full if it opened today. People who live in this neighbourhood say they are pleased a childcare centre is being constructed in the municipality, but say they are not so happy about losing some of their green space.
It's a concern. Like, we would have liked to have kept the space. We are looking forward to the daycare 100%. Like, we do need it. Like, I retired to babysit. I have friends that have retired to babysit.
We just wanted it over a little bit so that the public could have more place space.
The board says the green space will remain a community hub with plans for family activities and amenities like play equipment and picnic tables. The new centre is expected to open in early 2027. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Black River Matheson. The Ford government is racking up a considerable tab to keep American alcohol off store shelves in Ontario. It has cost the Ford government $8 million so far to store U.S. spirits, wine, cider, and beer. The products were pulled from the LCBO and other retailers in March of 2025 in response to Donald Trump's tariffs. U.S. booze sales in Ontario previously totaled $965 million a year. The province says U.S. alcohol will remain unavailable until the tariffs are removed. A popular online marketplace for handmade goods will soon ban fur products. Now, a proposed resolution at the Assembly of First Nations in Ottawa is urging Etsy to backtrack its policy. CTV's Tyler Fleming reports.
Come back, I would love to get your photo.
For Shauna Fontaine, traditions can be worn.
For Indigenous artists, this is our way of storytelling.
The Manitoba artisan owns Anishinaabe Girl Designs and is in Ottawa for the Assembly of First Nations, selling her handmade crafts, some that are made with fur.
This is made from skunk. I use ermine, I use weasel, I use mink, I also use some fox. I'm using the very bare minimum of materials in what I'm using to try to be as sustainable and as ethical as possible in my artistry. But I think as Indigenous nations, Indigenous peoples have always done that.
But starting August 11th, the e-commerce platform Etsy, known for selling handcrafted items, will ban the sale of products containing fur from animals, saying the move is part of its sustainability efforts.
That's going to have an impact to Indigenous peoples globally and to a way of life and sustainability and economic sovereignty.
Part of a sustainable harvest is near and dear to our traditions and our values as Indigenous people, something we've practiced since time immemorial.
Now, Chief Jenny Brake of Halibu First Nation wants the Assembly of First Nations to take a stand and is introducing a resolution at the Assembly urging Etsy to reverse the policy.
If Etsy is really true to honoring craft and arts, then they will listen.
The Fur Institute of Canada says platform bans like this add unnecessary barriers which can have deep impacts on rural and remote Indigenous communities.
Fur that's harvested in Canada is harvested humanely.
Fontaine hopes the resolution leads to change, but says she'll keep creating opportunities for other Indigenous artists
to ensure that Indigenous peoples can continue their way of life.
CTV News reached out to Etsy but did not receive a response. Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
Well, AI is making it harder to know which videos are real and which ones are fake, which is why you have to be careful where you get your information online, especially if there's a promise to get rich quick with no risk. More from CTV's Pat Foran.
Imagine receiving $35,000 every month without hard work, without risk, without wasting time.
This is the latest deepfake video going around online with Prime Minister Mark Carney. Well, it appears he's pitching an investment platform in the House of Commons. Criminals have used AI to create this fake video to scam Canadians.
2 months ago, I deposited just $350 into my account. Today, my balance is $70,000.
It looked exactly like Mark Carney. It was Mark Carney.
Deborah Friesen of Acton says last year she was watching craft videos online when an ad popped up that appeared to be the Prime Minister speaking about an investment opportunity.
He said, I'm really trying to help out my Canadian people by helping them to make extra money on this trading platform.
Friesen was scammed out of $13,000. Later, she was contacted again by someone who called her every day for months. She took another chance and was scammed out of $70,000.
And then he disappeared. I fell apart. I couldn't stop crying.
It's so frustrating, so devastating.
Judy Skeen saw a fake Mark Carney video on Facebook. She invested and was scammed out of $900,000.
All my money was gone.
Do not ever invest on anything or in any situation that arises out of social media.
Cybersecurity experts recommend reaching out to people you trust before making any investment decisions or large purchases.
Make sure that in your family you have 1, 2, or 3 people that you have on speed dial and you can call them immediately.
Be very cautious with any video seeking your money, and know with AI, creating deepfakes is getting easier and they're becoming more realistic. Pat Foran, CTV News.
And still ahead here on CTV News at 6. Gas prices on the rise once again. We'll find out what's behind this latest spike and just how much you can expect to pay coming up.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
Going to camp is the highlight of many kids' summers. But if you can't go to camp, sometimes camp can come to you. CTV's Pauline Chan visited Camp Week at Sick Kids Hospital.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good?
A happy greeting for 9-year-old Kirsten and her 7-year-old brother Curtis before they settle down to create a fishing game.
It gives them like the opportunity to be out in their room, most especially to do kid stuff.
Campfire Circle provides play-based programs to kids with cancer or serious illness through our in-hospital programs across the province, as well as at our 2 overnight sites that are both medically supported.
And while camp may usually be a summer event, Campfire Circle provides 3 to 4 camps a year at Sick Kids. What do they do?
I mean, slime is always a hit, but I definitely love the kids when they make zip lines where they make little characters and then they're doing zip lines down the hall. We've got camp sing-alongs, lots of fun like that.
Today, Kirsten is busy coloring fish. I went fishing once. I almost got a big fish, but I was too scared, so I let go of it. Kirsten was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma last December and has been coming to Sick Kids Hospital for 14 rounds of chemo.
Being able to be kids while doing the treatment that she needed helped her get through the day without being scared to be in the hospital.
Campfire Circle hospital programs are free to families, as are their overnight camps in Muskoka and Rainbow Lake. In fact, the Cononegos will be going to family camp in a few days. A chance to have fun and make friends, all in a medically safe environment. Got it. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Well, FIFA has announced the celebrities and performers who will hit the stage ahead of the World Cup final this Sunday. FIFA calls it a star-studded show featuring performances from Robbie Williams, Nicole Scherzinger, and I Show Speed, as well as a special appearance from Tom Cruise. Award-winning singer Jennifer Hudson will deliver a special rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner in front of the crowd at New York, New Jersey Stadium. The show starts at 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific, about 90 minutes before kickoff. Soccer fans know the first team who will compete in the FIFA World Cup final. Fans in Spain celebrated in the streets as their national club will play in the final match this Sunday. The Spanish team beat France 2-0. And a bitter rivalry will be renewed when England and Argentina take to the pitch in Atlanta in the other semifinal tomorrow at 3 p.m. You can find out who will play Spain Sunday live here on CTV, as well as TSN and Crave. As a result of the game, CTV News at 5 will be preempted tomorrow. We will be on air at 6 p.m. following the game.
Entertainment is brought to you by Super Big Money TV Bingo. Join us this Saturday at 6:30 on CTV.
Tom Cruise will be digging himself out this October, and some low-budget horror movies are making some big bank. David Daniel has tonight's Hollywood Report.
Digger here got us into this mess, and Digger's gonna dig us out again. Well, let's go.
Here's your first look at Tom Cruise as Digger. He plays the world's most powerful man trying to save humanity from a disaster he caused. John Goodman co-stars in the dark comedy from Oscar-winning filmmaker Alejandro Iñárritu, which opens in IMAX and other theaters October 2nd.
All these rooms, this place builds them. It's like a maze. It just goes on and on. Sometimes I'm scared I'll get lost.
Now you can get lost in this year's 2 surprise horror hits at home. Tuesday, Back Rooms debuts on digital platforms for sale and rental, and Obsession arrives on Blu-ray and DVD. Between them, the low-budget films have grossed nearly $800 million worldwide. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
With tensions high in the Middle East, you can expect another big jump in prices at the pumps. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has more on skyrocketing costs and who will feel it most.
The painful process of pulling up to the pumps is set to get even pricier.
Every time I hear the news is going up, it's a scary thing, man.
Gas prices are ticking upwards at midnight, anywhere from 5 to 10 cents per liter, depending on where you're located in the country.
We are seeing the effect of a shortage, of scarcity, of an energy crunch.
This is the average predicted price for regular gas in cities across Canada as of tomorrow, with one of the highest expected averages to be found in Vancouver at 198.9. One of the cheapest averages will be located in Edmonton at 165.
The world is quickly running out of oil, available oil to meet demand.
The price for Brent crude today hovered around $85 per barrel. The price this time last year was $66.84 per barrel. Stateside inflation in the United States cooled last month in part because of a dip in gas prices. While the renewed strikes on key assets by both the U.S. and Iran in the Gulf has been a driving factor behind the rise in oil prices for a second consecutive day.
It's frustrating. It's a little bit scary, you know, because I got a kid that I got to feed as well.
I still need to drive, so
You're
it's gonna feel, yeah.
The road ahead for budget-conscious consumers and drivers remains both turbulent and unpredictable. An additional heads up for those families who are planning to load up their cars and head out for a summer road trip this weekend. Gas prices are expected to continue to increase later this week. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Toronto.
And here in Northern Ontario, gas prices remain high but aren't breaking any records just yet. According to GasBuddy.com, in Greater Sudbury, the average price for gas is $1.58 today. Suites are averaging $1.56 at the pumps, and in North Bay, gas prices are around $1.63. Folks in Timmins are paying the highest price at about $1.70 per liter. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar down slightly to 71 cents. U.S. West Texas Intermediate WTI up $1.20 to 120 to 79.34. Western Canadian Select is up 88 cents to 64.89, and the TSX gained more than 67 points today, ending the day at over 35,000. Here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold up 51.24, closing the day at 40.52.54 U.S. an ounce. Silver is up $1.05. Copper up a nickel, and nickel up a dime, ending the day at 7.49 U.S. a pound. Back we go to Tony now for one last look at the weather and if it's going to feel any better out there for Wednesday.
Thanks for Marina. Yes, temperatures are coming down ever so slightly. Let's take a look at our forecast, starting with Sudbury. Lots of sunshine, 27 degrees. And through Timmins, sun, cloud, rain, and risk of thunderstorms coming in at 25. For Sault Ste. Marie, a mix of sun and cloud, 24 degrees, spot on temperature-wise. This time of year for North Bay, a mix of sun and cloud, 27, 29, and basking in the sun in through Parry Sound. And for Temiskaming Shores, a mix of sun and cloud and a daytime high of 26. Marina, it's back over to you.
Well, finally for us tonight, as the Royal Canadian Legion celebrates its 100th anniversary Friday, local branches are hosting special events. And today, Branch 54 in Haileybury marked a century of service, remembrance, camaraderie, and community. A parade made its way to the local cenotaph, followed by the opening ceremony and a time capsule retrieval. The time capsule was placed at the cenotaph in 1986 during the Diamond Jubilee celebrations, marking 60 years of service. It will be opened later this evening, as the Haileybury Legion will also be hosting a steak supper and night of music. What a great way to celebrate this special milestone. And to learn more about 100th anniversary celebrations taking place across the country, visit legion.ca. And that is all the time we have here on CTV News at 6. Ian Campbell is in at 11:30 with your late local news, so be sure to tune in then. Thanks for watching. Good night.